Our technology guru gets us caught up and ready.
We're good.
We're good. All right. Go ahead. I'll go ahead and call to order the work session for the Town Council of Tallulah Falls for April 27th, 2023. Get a motion to approve the agenda. Tom makes the motion. Scott seconds. All in favor? Unanimous. Discussion is the budget. So I do want to make one comment off the cuff. Page 20 in the original packet that got sent out said something about a millage rate increase to 7 mils. That is not. That was a holdover from last year's budget. So
I was just trying to see if y'all are paying attention or not.
yeah, so there's no proposed millage rate increase at all on this.
Yeah, all the numbers were right. It was just that one line. That one tiny detail that still said so from
So
last year.
just want that on record in case anybody else knows or gets out on YouTube. We are not recommending a millage rate increase at this time. So. So do we have any immediate questions? You'll have a chance to look through these. We can let Linda break it down for you if you need to.
Yeah, as far as the millage, we won't have the digest, for another few months, so that'll be. This is based on the same tax amount we got this year, so.
Page 12.
So it would either be the same or a rollback, depending on how the digest comes.
What's the rent?
Rent.
UPS rent $400 a month, stays here to park.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, one other item. I've heard back from DNR. And they have approved the tentative plans for what we want to do with the Rock House.
Good.
So,
Oh, really?
yeah, so what the plan there is to renovate and do, make new offices for law enforcement upstairs. Tanya's even mentioning sharing that with DNR law enforcement, so they'll be around more often. So, cause there'd be potentially 3 offices upstairs. And then the downstairs we're making into planning to make like a place where public groups and organizations can meet, including some explorer scouts that would then be working with our fire department. Some would be working with the police department also. So they've got different branches. So that's part of the public safety aspect. You would then be bringing people into our fire department.
You're not gonna be able to charge for that, though. It's just public service, right? Or is that not?
Yeah, I think we'd do something where it was, we would do cleaning fee maybe at the most or something, or if they clean it and then we waive that.
I like to
fee.
do this one.
Yeah, this room's, anybody in town can use this room at no charge.
Somebody discussed at a meeting, if we put money into it and fix it up, that they retract the offer. So that somebody mentioned the last meeting or meeting before, very good. They won't. If we put Tanya in there, fix it up, can they retract an offer or? It's ours, we're good.
Yeah, it's our, no, yeah, if we didn't get kind of some guideline from them, yeah, there's potential that if we put money into it and they didn't approve of what we wanted, what we were using it for, then they could theoretically take the building back.
Obviously, PD didn't approve.
Yeah, and they called me back today and said, yeah. And I clearly noted that on my drawings, that that's what we wanted to use this space for, including public restrooms, which is actually their idea on the far end, adding public restrooms onto the building. Because Mary Beth can't take anybody at her place, and Carl says people break in over here at Bluegrass and use it when it's been taken offline for the winter. And so if we have something over here, and like I keep saying, I want it to be waterproof and airtight, so I can go in there with a fire hose and hose it down if I have to.
Maybe have a water fountain, if they can fill their water and they won't get stuck in the joint floor.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a water fountain there, so. So I'm meeting with someone soon. We'll get a scope of project put together so we can start putting out the bids. And so part of this budget covered talks about that building. When we get back to the.
What is
public safety funds.
proceeds of capital asset sale? We've got 15,000 for the budget. What do you anticipate selling?
So that would be the car. Water still anticipating a $24,000. That's
Objection.
one of the ones that I tried to reduce that a little bit, but then the insurance rates came in. It's not good, but, from the transfer from the general fund, just so. So we let the water fund.
Did we as a city experience any issues with the outage today?
Other than, the pumps for Hickory Nut being offline during the outage,
VFDs are good.
they came back on, I didn't get any complaints.
Our
So,
phone system is out.
phone system's out.
Oh, is it internet based?
The internet is working.
So it's not, it's still old broadband?
Well, it's still old copper. Yeah. Yes, well, we've actually been talking for quite a while about shifting us over to a voice over IP system.
We put one in at the church. It's been great.
Yeah, we really want something that when people call in, they get a greeting message and they get to choose the department they want to speak with to kind of help with some of the call volume we're getting.
Well, and it goes directly to my cell phone.
Right.
So I can answer and transfer and do all of that.
Great out, there you go. So, yeah, I've got one, we've
It's
got,
handy.
one of my clients has one that they have me on, it's called Elevate, I think is the name of it. But we're looking at Windstream's system since we still have to get our internet through Windstream. And then it just,
We get our internet through Windstream, but we did Omega. And they did well.
yeah,
Really happy. And then we just got our phones upgraded. They upgrade our phones every 3 years.
yeah, I've talked to Omega about it, we may still consider them, since they're doing the work at the school.
Didn't you say when you talked to Windstream, they said it was not gonna cost us any more than what we're paying them?
Yeah, but I think that would be if we had the same number of lines, and we're looking at increasing what would be called users in order to reroute. Transfer, maybe, I don't know. We
The other thing is that would then allow for full coverage at the new building. And
Yes.
still be all in the same system.
Right,
Linda, is that grant money for engineering on water in here? I miss it.
On the capital projects.
Okay.
Is page 16.
Yeah, the increase in advertising represents what?
holy newspaper.
Page 16?
No. I don't know if I've told
You
you.
talking about the ARP funds?
Yeah, the 70,000 we're gonna have to match. For the
Yeah,
grant
here.
money, or
Go
the
from 2
engineering
to
for
3,000.
the road and trail system.
Oh, the trails. Okay.
I did say water, I apologize. I was looking at water, but I was thinking about travel.
No, that's not in here,
Well, I wondered,
Since it's a grant, we gotta do
when
it.
we talked about
Do we
Mary
know,
Beth
is that
thing
gonna
was about
this year.
upgrading signs.
I haven't heard back from them.
Yeah.
I need to reach out again to Susan.
Signs that-
Susan's a couple of times.
Okay.
She's across the way.
Probably not.
That's why my.
Yeah, you don't know if it's gonna be this year, but it wouldn't hurt
We
to
can
go ahead
amend
and,
We could amend it later,
yeah.
Yeah,
either-
right? If it does happen, then just amend it. Okay.
And since we'll,
The school fund looks good. I mean, it looks like auditors, look at that, it looks clean, clear.
But you like the initiative.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Thought it was easier to break it up by,
Yeah, it looks good.
yeah,
Public safety, public safety, law enforcement. Yeah, oh, gotcha.
Good.
yeah, and,
Now, in the police budget worksheet, it doesn't allow the second full
so
time.
all that is in the
Budget.
school.
Okay. All right.
And you got the 2-year in there as well.
Mhm.
yeah, we could set aside 2 years worth of salary or total cost.
And the
salary
increase in advertising is just for the newspaper.
On the admin budget, it's, I mean, we've already spent 2775 this year, so.
Okay, oh, yeah, there you have it, yeah. What about, the request Mary Beth had for upgrading her signs?
So I had a thought about that. I've got some in there for the, economic development, because now we won't have the 4,600 for the insurance, it's now deviated another. But, I left 2,000 in there, thinking possibly for that kind of project. Or it could possibly fit into, we've got the new hotel motel tax,
That'd be a brick and mortar.
the brick and mortars
Yeah.
part of that, so on page. And that, she hasn't gotten me a estimate yet, but on page 17 for the hotel motel, that new section for funding that we haven't had before was the, that's fine, this, just saw some. So on that second line, restricted tourism, product development. So for, those should all be zeros up until, the 24 budget. Those are just. copied
Right, we
from
didn't
the
have
number
anything.
board. So there's $1,800 in there that could be used for that. So
The increase, under court, for regular employees from 12 to 16,000, is that?
So my salary is divvied up between admin, water, and court.
So what's the total raise for you?
So mine would go from 60 to 75.
60 to 75?
With y'all's blessing, of course.
And she had a worksheet that gave her that information on what that should be after, 7 years?
So I took. When I got the 60 and then added in the COLA for each year, which brought it up to 71 and some change. And the other 4,000 is for hazard pay for.
For answering the phones. Can we pay that out of this, can we pay that out of the public safety? Sorry.
Or will be.
Yes. Harassing.
Just the people that come to court, I was, got an earful the other day while they had court going on. So I was in the other room.
This guy, reading. People are not.
Relating to traffic?
To the citations. I drove 16, I drove an hour up here to blah, 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 and that wasn't a school zone. So anyway. Yeah, I think, and you use that same metric on Tanya's, right?
I got that, that's not, I mean, she added in, you know, I don't know what she's did on, but,
Goes from like, say you had that other position, since I spend another 20 to 40 hours weekly on tickets. I didn't think of that.
Yeah, just,
And that's shown on.
it's on page. No,
hers,
it's-
hers
hers
is on the list.
yeah, page 7. Her, she put in salary increase of 20, looks like 25,000.
Right, so hers would go from 55 to 80. And then she's got 8,000 in for part-time. The other full-time officer and all of his benefits is completely in the school.
Completely, because it's a new position being created for public safety.
Is it 340,000 on radio, is that gonna be enough to cover when we realistically do it?
I believe so.
Okay,
I feel like I'm shooting pretty high.
yeah, I thought it looks conservative, let's just make sure what.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do we need to go ahead and put in whatever we want for the broadcast? That's part of
I
this
thought we
budget?
had that in there.
No, I have no idea what that is.
I put in 250,000 on it when we had that workshop the other day.
I don't think that wasn't one of the things that we put on there.
Oh, I thought it was.
Cause that, we didn't even know. I mean, you hadn't heard back from them, but.
Right. Okay. Well, that would be why I had 800,000 on mine. And you had 600 and something. That would be, yeah. So yeah, I was estimating 250,000 for the,
Well, we were at 8 something, but 210 of it was to put into a CD for the.
right,
Kind of other,
yeah, I knew about that.
yeah, but I got that in the reserves.
Let's see. And this,
What's that?
the new police vehicle,
It's.
So it's under the new officer.
Page 18.
Yeah, on page 18,
65,000.
yeah,
I mean, she may,
it's right above the solid black
Yeah.
line. You get there, there.
I mean, she may keep the new one and give them.
Right.
Hers
No,
or whatever,
well,
but anyway, that's where that.
yeah, I hope so. Okay, good. Where are we at on the revenue from the cameras? What's our current number?
We are at 983,758.
And when we went through our itemized list, we were basing that on 700,000 or 750,000.
No, I thought we
It
all
was
paid
800.
more like 850,000.
Yeah.
Some of that we shifted
Yeah, we
this
shifted.
year's, but
Right.
it was 800 and something.
But I was looking at the legal number, is that everything? That all we got?
That's paying out everything we've got so far.
I see today on, and then your budgeted. I think the rest of the year and then for next year. That what those numbers are.
Well, the
5. I was just curious.
other, I mean, next year's is just next year's,
Yeah,
so we'll be over budget this
yeah, okay.
So again, I'm just looking for a little bit of clarification.
Okay,
When we were doing this list,
year.
okay, we were basing it on, was it 860,000? Okay, but now that has increased, basically $123,000.
Right, and we've still got, well, Got 2 more months of school.
Right.
No, 1 more month of school. But there's
Well,
gonna be,
it'll go into June though.
yeah, we're probably end up going into July. So, and then there are those that contest that when their payments come in, it'll be even later. So,
So if I could, what I'm questioning based on, we have more money than we first looked at, so,
right,
and according to this, that, we were looking at $145,000 for the townwide emergency alert system for phase 1 and 2. And again, that includes the school, is that correct?
yeah, that would include the school.
Okay, but we're only allotting 94,000.
Because during that meeting, there was a lot of back and forth going on. And the numbers started dropping and we got to like 90,000 at one point for everything.
Okay.
And so, I'm trying to find where that is on my list here. There it is, I see it now. So it had dropped down substantially what our share would be.
But again, this 94,000 would cover what the school needs.
No, would just be what we do.
What we do.
Because the school will have to pay for anything that they need that attaches inside their building that wouldn't be used by the general public.
Okay,
So,
so this would actually give us, it would replace our existing sirens that we have. We would have basically the same capabilities they were looking for at the school, but now be available to all of the residents.
right,
Okay, and instead of putting that off, we're gonna implement it right away.
yeah, as soon as we get a
Right.
budget approved, yeah.
So, but in that figure there, does it allow for the school to have all that information sent to Tanya?
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah, everything was shoot. In fact, there's some side conversations going on about how we would implement it. And one of them is that the school, they're exploring the option of creating space for Tanya on campus, her own office, to house and warehouse certain things that she can access, so that in the event of an active shooter, she can get in, have immediate access to whatever she needs. All of our officers, not.
Right.
And so that's already been talked about whether or not that would be a theoretical use for us. To where, so that the idea being that in an active shooter scenario, one of the things we've been talking about is how porous the campus is. And so an active shooter can move through the school and then come into town, because there's not any barrier in between. So,
Right.
so we're gonna have the possibility of that overflowing into the town as well, so. Yeah, that number was, from what I understood, would give us everything that we're wanting for the alert system and everything else. And then have that system set up in such a way that the school then could add on to it at their own expense.
Okay. Any idea how much that would be?
No, I don't have that.
Okay.
I can get that.
Well, no, I was just curious, but,
I know the guy.
Be Bruce with Omega. So, I mean, there's still some talking. And we'll have to get the actual bid in on what we're requiring and what we want from them. So that they gave us this ballpark number just so we can get through budget. And then, of course, we'll have to
okay, I would
bring that
just
to you.
like to make sure we were covered there.
Yeah,
We can amend the budget, me too, on that particular item or whatever.
right.
We just need to decide if we're gonna put the rock house in and how much.
Well, initially, we had on this list, Rock House renovation at 250,000.
Right, it just wasn't included in the.
Right.
For the improvements for the police part of it, we can take it out of our safety funds.
Well, because we're gonna be using the downstairs space for a public safety related project,
Use it all.
you'd be able to use all of it.
Yeah, you need to put it in there, 'cause I'd like to see that happen.
Okay.
I mean,
So I'm.
it'd be nice to have a budget anyway. We don't have to worry about amending
You
later.
think 250 is?
Right,
250,
unless it comes in higher.
Right.
So,
So I'd say 250 for now. We'll, like I said, I'm gonna be meeting with someone in the next few days.
yeah,
And he's gonna help me pull together a scope of project that we can send out for bids. He may even do the drawings for what we want to do, and that way we can send it out and get a bid, because we may get bids back saying 400,000. So we'll see. I just estimated. I just really ballparked that, just so we could have something on the budget, so.
It's good, the DNR is interested in.
I think it's good visibility.
yeah, I do too. I think it's gonna be
I
nice
like
to open
that.
that place up. Yeah,
Yeah,
because it's just sitting there.
right. If we wait too much longer, that building's gonna start falling in on
Right.
itself, so we need to start making some movement on it.
Yeah.
So it's structurally sound. I don't mean to make it sound that bad, but it is one of those situations that's slowly gonna start deteriorating, and then once it starts, it's gonna just take off.
Yeah, well,
Yeah. So,
Is there anything else on this proposed list that we need to look at for this coming year?
wasn't,
I mean, we have the funds.
I didn't bring that list with me, but
but we can always amend it again.
We can amend it.
depending on how much money
most of what we hit at that last meeting
is in there.
is in here, and I feel like we prioritize things. I felt like everything else on the list, at least from the fire department side of things, could wait until we knew what was happening. And so we could probably wait until either later this year or even next year to do some of that stuff.
What about the safety corridor?
Oh. If I ever forget it now. I don't know if it's truly, a little leery of calling it that, just because of the. I don't know, a little leery of we'll have to, let's look at it first and see what we think.
Okay.
It's,
I don't want to get outside of what an auditor might consider stretching the limits, since that seems to be the problem with the state. In other areas, they might be taking advantage of the situation. I don't want to go it that way,
no.
so we can discuss it and see.
What about sidewalks?
That was part of
The
the
same thing.
safety corridor.
Yeah, we can, I'd like to have the plan where we can all talk about it before we decide to put it in an official budget. And then it raise eyebrows for not being, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whatever it is, right?
Now, well, one thing we may want to go ahead and talk about those, the speed bumps. Do we want to go
He
ahead?
said
and
those were gonna be so cheap.
Yeah, I meant to, I've got some at the, probably just gonna donate them.
Oh, okay.
I've got some coming off the project that I put in temporarily. They're just screw downs, but they're nice looking. They're, you know,
About 9 foot long.
yeah, they
I want to leave an opening in the middle of the road for
I
water.
may have to cut one because I think they're made for 224s.
Oh, okay.
I mean, 212s.
But they're like that polymer, so they're easy to cut. Okay.
Yeah,
you
you
get
just move them.
Yeah, I priced some and they were gonna be like $500 a piece for a 9 foot section. And we're talking about 1, 2, 3, maybe 6 of those total.
Probably put those in with the paving
Okay.
if we had to, or I'll just donate, put them in. If you want to put true asphalt, so
Yeah,
these will be
I like
removable.
I like the idea of removal for
These-
for snow plowing mostly,
Okay,
because
Thermal imaging cameras, not a priority.
no. That's a
That's a wish.
wish list.
That's fine.
It's something I would like for like, and the reason I included the number I did was that way our police department would each have one, our fire trucks would have at least 2 or something. And we can respond like today. Go up, Marty came down, he had a fire, actually, he had put a fire out in his house. So I ran up with the thermal imaging camera we have and checked to see if there are any hot spots, and he was fine. But if we had multiple cameras, we could split and go around and hit
Do we have
some places.
Monty.
Monty,
Yeah,
yeah, Monty did.
Monty.
There were others, I think,
Was it from the
Van
power
Dyke,
outage?
yeah, the Nightings had,
House that burned down.
And the Nitans had sparks coming out of their,
And that was because of the generators.
but it's because of as the power was fluctuating.
I know, but do you think it had to do
We
with
think this-
generators?
Generators and the power not being able, doing that fast rapid switch
Yeah,
caused
I
some
didn't know
problems.
check on that.
So,
Keith Man's did.
yeah, Nelms had some
That
problems.
Did they have a generator? Do you have a generator, Joe?
No, I believe three circuits or four.
Did you? And you didn't have a generator? So it may have been more than just people with generators that had problems.
Oh,
Today,
The,
ooh, I need to go check. I didn't check
turnout
that.
gear and fire helmets, are you relatively sure you're gonna get those this year? Do I need to move those?
No, I need to get those this year. Yeah, those are.
Helmets are out of date, right?
Yeah, all of our, well, except for three of them, the rest of our helmets are out of date and all of our turnout gear will be out of date. But I need to get my big guys some equipment for training because they have to be able to do quick dress.
Oh, didn't you say we needed to change the training number?
We do. So, would that be the training meetings?
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, that number needs to go up to, I believe, 27.
page 19.
Yeah.
Let me pull that up real quick.
Oh, no, education training was.
Oh, education training, okay.
The same number.
Okay, all right, that's the wrong. Oh, I don't have that account on here.
And I've got one, I think, 1 month,
Yeah, I don't have it.
I think 1 month of an officer. She may or may not get somebody hired this year, but we've got 1 month.
Okay, yeah, so what Linda's asking about, there's a software program online that Reagan County is going with. We went and had a meeting about it. It's a really good program. What we've been using for training in the past was through Hall County and it was free. And all of our guys had access, so they could do any training they couldn't do with us. They could go online, get a certified course for whatever they wanted through Hall County. But Hall County's taking that offline the end of June this year. So that left Habersham, Raven, several of us that were using that, kind of wondering what we were going to do about training, that type of training for our guys. So they reached out to a company called Target Solutions, pretty well known. Target Solutions, so it costs about $135 a person per year for that, plus a maintenance fee that they have. I think it's $400 a year for that maintenance fee. But what this program does, and the reason I decided I was going to go ahead and put our guys in on it, is that it tracks your training in such a way as to keep you compliant with ISO. So ISO really wants us to have about 240 hours of training every year, and they have it specified how they like to see it. We've been getting a lot of that training, but we haven't been getting credit for it because we didn't know how to classify it properly. So this program will take care of that. So what it'll do is it'll take whatever's the highest number value of training and give credit there. And then if you do that same type of training, it'll reclassify it to something else and apply it there for us. And it'll track it more easily. Plus, when I told Verisk that we were thinking of, because we're in the process of trying to maintain our 4 rating right now. When I talked to Verisk, they said, oh, if you go with that, then your problems are over. You'll get to keep that 4. You'll be able to maintain that because they really like this program. It's easy for them to get in and get their reports and get their information. And I figured for $130 something a year for each guy. The other thing we're using this for is the Target Solutions said they have seen an increase in younger volunteers with the implementation of this system. So we're kind of hoping that'll help with some new recruitment. Because they can go online, take the class, get a certificate from an authorized instructor that then goes in their file, and it's legitimate all the way down. What we do here is adequate, but we don't always have the right kind of trainer for that, so we can't give certificates. So a lot of our training is uncertified, and it's good training, but this will help us fill that gap. And then one of our plans is, what we'll do is tell the guys, hey, during the week, work on this training, get this classroom work done, and then Monday we'll come down here, we'll do our hands-on. And that'll free us, because right now we're having so much classroom time, the guys are starting to get bored because they're not getting to get out and get on the equipment.
They can do it at their own pace.
They can do it at their own pace. And also has, for Tam's sake, it also has, medical training that's the state recognizes. So they can do, anybody that has EMT and so forth can use that for their continuing ed credits as well.
She just upgraded last month.
Did she? So, what, paramedic?
Oh,
Oh, EMT, oh, okay. So, yeah, what's their group called? National Registry? They'll recognize these trainings as well. So, and the state does too, so. So
We
anyway,
need to
that's,
change that 1,200.
yeah, take that up to, let me do 2,800, because I know it's 27 something. But I don't have the number in front of me. I don't have access to it right now, so. That's actually for the first year. The second year it'll go down because there's an $800 implementation cost to get it set up, and they're actually waiving half of that, so we'll only be paying 400. So,
When you break it down per person, that's not bad for training.
no, it's not for a year.
And
If
for
they'll use,
peace of mind and safety.
yeah, if they'll use it, that's gonna be my other, my other thing. If they're not using it, we're not gonna pay for it. So let's go a year. Let's see if everybody uses it. And we'll revisit it next year. Hopefully I'll be using it. I like the idea of it. So, and we will maintain, we have a policy already in the books that you have to have 24 hours in-house training to stay, be in good standing with our department. Because I don't want them just going online, doing all the training, and we never see them. So they will be required to have 24 hours with us in person each year, so. So anyway,
So Linda makes those changes and then the next city council will.
yeah, the May,
So then May 11th meeting, we'll have our public hearing,
Yeah,
and then we'll vote on it in June.
I got you.
This is, you won't be in May 11th. Okay.
oh,
the
so
public
that's the
hearing.
one. I knew one of them. I
Yeah.
thought it was tonight.
He was thinking you weren't gonna do that.
No, this one's fine, maybe 11th. I mean, I know.
Yeah.
Everybody else, as far as you know,
Okay.
is gonna be.
Nothing's changed since I've been in your office, so that right?
Yeah, I'm good.
I'm good then.
Yeah. Silas has a soccer game that night, but. It'll be,
I think we decided May 11th was before
Yeah.
all the.
Yeah, the graduation was 19th. Wait.
Yeah. Before the ads go into the paper, actually, it's at the paper, but I hadn't printed yet, so. No, we can.
I'm not gonna pronounce this, but SCBA's for the fire department.
I still need to talk to Raven County. They had committed to buying some for us. I just need to verify if they're still on track for that, or if not, then I'll put it in next year's. We've got 4 that are compliant. The others are still operational. So we can make it by. So next year.
June 8th.
June 8th. Yeah, that's right. Because the first will be on a Thursday next month, June.
That not gonna work. I look at June 8th.
Yeah, June 8th's good for me.
I got it as a council meeting.
Yeah.
There's three that can be here.
Good. May 16th, middle school graduation, May 19th, upper school graduation. Okay. No barbecue costs.
Scott, you're.
I'm good, yeah. Yeah, that should be fine.
What was the June?
8th.
May 11th, June 8th.
That's when we will. June 8th, or the June meetings when we'll adopt the final budget.
Well, you're gonna miss out on the budget.
The public hearing.
And
Oh, it's
the.
Okay, Dylan.
List of changes on NDC.
Oh, never mind. Swamp. All right. Motion to get.
Second,
Anything else? We have a motion to adjourn.
second.
Tom seconds, all in favor? Unanimous. All right.
Thank you,
guys.
and appreciate your work.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
a lot. Not you, Mike.
No, I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything. I gave her the fire department budget. That's it.
Are you,
I like you. Go more.
Yeah.
I want to really read it.
Heck yeah, come on. Yeah.
He's got buddies coming tomorrow night to save his energy.
No. There's always just three of them there.